In this video, we're going to look at how to name and draw alcohols. The functional group of the alcohol group is the O group. So you can see here that we have in this here, the first member of the homologous series of alcohols, the O group. And this would be methanol because it's got one carbon. This is the second member of the homologous series of alcohols, and it's called ethanol. Now let's look at how to name it. The first thing we have to do is find the longest chain containing the O group, the hydroxyl group. And the hydroxyl group will need to be in the lowest position because it's the most important functional group present. So number the carbon chain and then find any other groups that are attached to the carbon chain. So our parent compound has 4 carbons, bute, and they're all single bonded, butane, and we have the hydroxyl group which is located on carbon number 2. So it's a butanol. We also have a functional group in prefix which is a bromo, and it's located on carbon number 3. Now let's try naming these alcohols. You will need to stop the video so that you can name it and then start it again to see the answer. So here's the O group, the hydroxyl group, and it's located on carbon 1, 2, 3. So this is propan 2-ol. Now let's try this one. Stop the video. So find the longest chain containing the hydroxyl group. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we want that hydroxyl group in the lowest position. Now we have a branch here and it's got 1 carbon in it, so it's a methyl, and we have a chloro here. So let's name it bute. They're all single bonded, so butan 2-ol. We have a methyl, and it's located on carbon number 3, and we have a chloro located on carbon number 1. Now let's try naming this one. Stop the video. So longest chain containing the alcohol group. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a branch here with 1 carbon, so it's a methyl. We have a branch here with 1 carbon, so that's a methyl. And we have a branch here with 1 carbon, so that's a methyl. We have a chloro here. So it's hex, they're all single bonded, so hexan 1-ol. We've got methyl, and we've got 3 of these, so it's a trimethyl. And they are located on 2, 4, and 4. Remember commas between numbers and dashes between numbers and words. And then we have a chloro on carbon number 3. Now let's try drawing some alcohols, and drawing is always easier. So start at the parent. We've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put the alcohol group on carbon number 1. On carbon number 4 we have a chloro. On carbon number 2 we have a methyl, and carbon number 3 we have a methyl. Now put the number of hydrogens on, making sure that each carbon has got 4 bonds. Now let's try drawing some alcohols ourselves. Stop the video and have a go. So the structural diagram for hexanol: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On carbon number 2 is the alcohol group, and then put the hydrogens on. Next one, we have a pentanol as the parent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put the hydroxyl group here, and then 1,3 dibromo, 1, 3 dibromo, 3 ethyl. Now make sure you put the hydrogens on so that every carbon has 4 bonds. Last one, butanol is the parent structure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Carbon number 1 has the hydroxyl group. Carbon number 2 has a bromo. Carbon number 3 has a chloro. And carbon number 3 has a methyl. Now put all the hydrogens on so that each carbon has 4 bonds. Now, there are 3 categories of alcohols. They are primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols, and these alcohols have different physical and chemical properties. Now, the type of alcohol is based on how many carbon atoms are attached to the carbon that is bonded to the hydroxyl group. So, this is a primary alcohol. What you do is you find the carbon attached to the hydroxyl group and find out how many other carbons are attached. In this case there is 1, so it's a primary alcohol. 1 other carbon, so it's 1 primary alcohol. 1 other carbon, so it's a primary alcohol. This one here is the carbon. How many other carbons is this carbon attached to? 1, 2, so it's a secondary alcohol. Find the alcohol group. How many other carbons is this attached to? 1, 2, so it's a secondary alcohol. Once again, find that carbon. 1, 2, secondary alcohol. Tertiary alcohols, find the carbon attached to the hydroxyl group. How many carbons are there attached to this carbon? 1, 2, 3, so it's a tertiary alcohol. Find the carbon. 1, 2, 3 other carbons, tertiary alcohol. Find the carbon. 1, 2, 3, tertiary alcohol. So this time you need to name the alcohol and then identify it as a primary, secondary or a tertiary alcohol. You'll need to stop the video to have a go and then start it to see the answer. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a butan-2-ol with methyl, and that's attached to carbon number 3. And find this carbon. How many other carbons is it attached to? 1, 2, so it's a secondary alcohol. Try this one. Stop the video. So find the longest chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's butan-1-ol. It's got a bromo attached, and that's on carbon number 3. Now this carbon is attached to 1 other carbon, so it's a primary alcohol. Try this example. Stop the video. So find the longest chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's butan-2-ol. We have a methyl, and that's attached to carbon number 2. We have a bromo, and attached to carbon number 4. Now this carbon here is attached to 1, 2, 3, so it's a tertiary alcohol. Go to your OneNote and have a go.